Hello everyone, welcome back to the ESL Pro League. I bet that little video got you guys kind of pumped up and ready for today. It featured some of the players that are going to be playing later on tonight as well, and it was a bloody good one, obviously, from the Star Series finals. Now though, we're back with business here at the ESL HQ, joined by Harry. And Harry, it is going to be a fabulous day. We've got two great games coming up, not just the one game like yesterday. We've got more action. It's double, it's jam-packed, and it's going to be beautiful. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Just, pure adrenaline from beginning to end. And, I think we have a selection of great teams from kind of all walks of CS taking part in tonight's games. And, I'm very much looking forward to it. I know you are. It's true. It's going to be beautiful. So why don't we have a look at that schedule as well, see just who is going to be playing tonight, who's going to be battling it out and brawling over on the secondary stream. Obviously, to kick it off, it's going to be the guys from yesterday that caused a huge upset against Envious, Kinguin. Today, though, it's going to be NaVi. That's going to be a much harder game from them. I don't know if we're going to see the same type of Kinguin coming out there. And then later on, the one that's kind of more on the tip of all of our tongues is going to be Hellraisers versus Astralis, the reigning champions right now. Astralis, the team that really has just shown that they have so much Danish dedication in that lineup. And then up against Hellraisers, someone that's been causing a major stir recently. So it's going to be a cool one to check that out. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
The whole story of behind HR coming into this year and how things have been going for them is so interesting to look at. So that second game is one that I'm very much looking forward to, but the first two as well, you can't, take away from that. NaVi, probably one of my favorite teams to actually watch play from a strategic standpoint and just a raw individual skill versus Kinguin, a team who, like you said yesterday, caused quite the upset.
That's true. So let's move over and check out those standings as well, see where everyone is situated after those games that went down yesterday. Obviously, Kinguin is still in that bottom spot, but as we touched on, Harry, they have the potential to climb further now. They do have 6 wins under their belt, so it's all ifs and buts, but there's a lot that could potentially come out of there. I mean, what sort of sticks out in your mind here?
The thing that I'm really looking at right now is the fact that, you've got NaVi in third, and they're tied with Astralis, but they have the potential to pick up both of these against Kinguin, because let's face it, they kind of are leaps and bounds ahead. It would require Kinguin to be firing on all cylinders to take both maps, for example. So I think this is where we could potentially see NaVi shoot up into the lead. Of course, it's also going to depend on the outcome of the Hellraisers versus Astralis game. There's a lot going on this leaderboard, and, there's so much we could speak about.
It's true, there is a lot to sort of debate with that. And I mean, it is potential, as we said, we're going to see Astralis and NaVi battling it out today. So obviously NaVi do have room to actually move up potentially towards that second place or first, depending on how both of the games go.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. It's definitely a big shake-up towards that top end of the leaderboard that will be cool to see where everyone ends up after today's muddle-ups. So, moving our way through though, it's going to be interesting to see when they get there, when we get that time. But obviously, we've got to touch on the great people that allowed them to get here. The teams that worked their way through. Kinguin, obviously, they brawled it out last season. They made their way through Mountain Dew League, and it's still going on. It's drawing to the end of its season. Harry was, covering a lot of it online. You've been seeing a lot of these teams, and they're finally getting towards those finals. You guys want to check that out, as it's going to be some beautiful stuff. Deciding who will actually make their way into the next season of Pro League as well comes out on top of that.
Yeah, it is exciting to watch. You just get to see teams as they evolve, as we see them reach the upper echelons, and then eventually we're going to be seeing a couple of them challenge for their place to make it into the Pro League. So that is going to be a spectacle when that does come through. And who knows, we might even be seeing Kinguin there. A lot of that could depend on the outcome of today's games and what we have for them in store in the future.
It's true, you're going to decide where they actually lie with their fate. But obviously as well, if you miss any of the action that goes down here, we had some great games yesterday and you want to catch up on it, you want to refresh yourself, head over to the YouTube channel, click subscribe, stay up to date with all the latest and greatest. You can see our ugly mugs there. We were covering things yesterday, so you might as well check it out. But then, don't forget to ring that bell so you can stay up to date with everything. It will notify you when we upload or go live. Always good to know.
No, it is always great to know. And it means you won't miss anything. And if you do miss anything, it's all there. So what's your excuse? Why haven't you watched all the games? That's what I want to know. But moving into this one, the game that we do have coming up first is Kinguin versus NaVi. And of course, the first map is going to be, I believe it's Mirage, right? But I think I have it written down in the reverse order, which is why there was a little bit confused. But okay, we've got Mirage coming up first. And I think there is a lot that we can speak about to do with this. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this actually does go down. We've seen performances from both of these teams on Mirage, so it's going to be a very interesting one to keep an eye on. And there's a lot of dynamics whereby, some elements almost of Kinguin, if they go right, they could very easily actually be able to take a couple of rounds out from NaVi. And, we have seen NaVi have some up and down periods on Mirage. It's not to say that they haven't. So, I feel like it's not impossible, but at the same time, Mirage is a very good map for NaVi, and you can't take that away from them.
It's true. This is kind of your proving grounds in where they have set themselves in quite a few times how dominant they can be. The only scary factor is coming into it, if Kinguin can pull something out of nowhere, really revitalize themselves. More so what we saw yesterday as well was the fact that individually they were playing phenomenally. Up against Envious, they had that teamwork structure, but they're not really going to have that edge upon NaVi here.
Yeah,
sure,
exactly.
Both teams have been together for a very long time, but NaVi as well, in terms of how vast and how sort of thought out their playbook is, you can't really contest that as much as what Kinguin have to bring to the table. Whereas with Envious, it was a lot easier for them to sort of outsmart them and be able to overcome that. Individual-wise, though, if they can play what they did yesterday, they might actually have a chance of going blow for blow with some of this. We saw some great play coming out. The only scary factor is Sparrow, for me, was the one that was lacking in terms of AWPing capability.
Yeah.
He can provide so much to that team in terms of his actual role, but he just didn't show up. And I think the scary factor is up against a team like NaVi, where they have the ability of so many just world-class AWPers in that one unit. You know, it can be passed around to nearly every player there that can wield it to a very high standpoint. It's going to be scary, because that's the thing that's going to counter the only edge that Kinguin have in a lot of those matchups.
Yeah, it was very odd yesterday. Sparrow still had a very good performance overall, but it was the AWPing that was letting him down. He kept losing duels to the likes of Sixer, and when you compare Sixer and Guardian, I don't really think there's a lot of competition there, right? You'd go Guardian 9 times out of 10. And, seeing Sparrow, how he was yesterday, if he is still in that kind of rut today when it comes to using the AWP, I think they're going to have a very hard time of it on Mirage. But the kind of trend that we do see is when it comes down to these Mirage games, a lot of the times you need to have both Simple and Guardian in their element. If one of them starts to falter off, then, usually it's if Simple isn't really kind of feeling up to it, then we see a very, very big slump in the rest of the teams as well. And it just kind of drags everyone's momentum down. They rely quite a lot on these two players, not only to kind of keep the morale of everyone else up, but to open up a lot of the opportunities that we see them getting in the first place. So, there is room for error on behalf of NaVi. When you kind of have that much dependence on a couple of your players to do such a good job, then that does open up potential for teams to, come along and upset you. They're 5 very strong players that have been together for a very long time, like you say. But, it's not to say they can't be upset.
It's true, and we've seen more of that as well. There's been cracks that have been showing for NaVi for, quite some time now. A lot of issues have been arising with them. They're not really getting to the positions that we expect to be them in a lot of tournaments. More so recently, they have been sort of, bottling out a bit earlier on. And it's uncharacteristic of them, as usually they are quite a dominant force. They really do tear things up quite easily. But a lot of that, as you said, does rely on the fact that Simple and Guardian, it can't really just be one of them popping off anymore. Either of them have to be consistent, firing from all cylinders at the same time. If it's just one of them doing work, it doesn't really work. And with Guardian as well, it just sort of seems that it's been a bit of a drop-off. We haven't really ever seen him climb back to the height that he used to be on. Arguably, he was the world's best AWPer at one point in time. He was unreal in terms of his individual ability to actually just shut teams down by himself. He can still perform to that level, but it just doesn't seem like it's as consistent anymore. And that's been such a huge factor in slowing them down.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is the transition between who you look to kind of have the early and most impactful frags. It kind of used to be a lot of that pressure was on Guardian with the AWP to kind of open things up, and now we've kind of seen that switch over more towards Simple, and that's why I feel like when one of the members of the kind of the dynamic duo isn't doing well, then we see the rest of the team drop off as well. In their most recent game against Fnatic on Mirage, we did see them win that out, and that was on the back of an amazing performance from Simple. He dropped 30 frags across the whole game. He did phenomenally well. Guardian was kind of nearer the bottom, kind of had a bit of an absent performance, and we were actually kind of more looking towards the likes of Edward to really chime in with some frags. But I'd say it gets to the point now where arguably kind of Simple, Edward, Flamey, they're the more essential ones in this to have to turn up. Guardian can afford to just kind of break even. But if they can have him back in old form, have him back at the standard that he was at, then that's just going to go all that further distance to help them.
It's true. Any little edge they can get there to try and help them out. One of the edges they can will be the support players coming in with some amazing smokes. Now, you guys at home might be thinking, I don't really agree with smoking, but I want some better smokes that are going to help me out in my ACA game. So let me check out some tips over on Mirage to help you guys at home.
Hey Future Pros! Today we have a nice and simple smoke for mid-window. This smoke is very handy if you get stuck behind the mid boxes against an AWPer. This smoke should anger the AWPer immensely, so watch out for him rage peeking from connector. For this smoke you will need to be behind the mid boxes. Crouch down in this corner and aim at the corner of this box. Then just let the smoke soar for around 3 minutes and you should have a perfect mid-window smoke. Good luck!
There you have it, some smokes to help you out there when you're playing those pugs. But Harry, this isn't a pug. This is the real deal. This is the big boys.
This is the real thing. Yeah. And I wonder if we're going to be seeing that exact smoke. Maybe they've been watching. Maybe they've been learning from the.
That's where the strategy's come from.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how Kinguin won that game yesterday, guys.
Yeah. No, you heard it here first. But yeah, you know, I mean, as we kind of were saying coming into this, it is going to be a lot of pressure on Kinguin. It's kind of all to lose and a lot to gain from them. If they don't win this, they're going to find themselves just still stuck in that bottom slot. You know, right down at the end of the leaderboard. Yeah. If they win and they do cause an upset, then you know it could be kind of the change in trajectory from them. It's the thing we need to see is them piping up a little bit against some of these bigger teams, causing the upsets that they have been able to cause in the past. Because you know they're not a team that don't have the talent. They're not a team that don't have the experience. They've definitely got all of it. It's just they've been going through a bit of a slump lately, and I'm hoping that the wins against Envious yesterday could be the thing to finally break that.
It's true, there's a lot of potential there as well, and obviously if we touch on that, that's the thing. They did cause some upsets. I mean, earlier on in this season, I believe they were able to take that 2-0 win up against VP. It might have been a 1-1, but there was still a very good feat for them when you think about it, because Kinguin obviously coming into that, as we suggest there, you expect more of a domestic matchup between those two teams like that to go the way of VP. They're the superior Polish side. You think where they would have played against each other at that point, they'd know how to be able to lock them down. But Kinguin definitely caused a major upset there. And they've had some great moments like that throughout the season. If they can keep getting those huge impactful wins, that's kind of the factor that's going to rile them up as well, even just on a confidence factor. We saw that yesterday when they actually started to get some wind underneath them and a little bit of hype. They played superior than they were playing throughout the rest of the matchup.
Yeah, and you know the win that they did get against VP was on Mirage as well, so it's just going to lend itself to them that much more. The other thing is looking at it, I think we need to have a strong performance from Mihu. Sparrow in that game was playing very well. It was kind of him and Mihu towards the top of the board. So I think if they can be in their element, the duo that we're used to seeing make themselves very prominent on Kinguin, then we could be in for a bit of a treat. I mean, who knows? As you said, when you kind of look at them, though, they are a bit of an anomaly to me. They, like I say, they do seem a bit inconsistent. They're very hit and miss. They've got wins against VP, but then you look at it and they've got losses to teams such as Pride and Spirit, who are kind of in a tier
below.
A tier below.
That,
and it's clear that they have been having these issues. VP win was a little bit of a while ago now, so it's not something that's going to be fresh in their minds. They have had victories against teams like iGames and Outlaws, but since then, I mean, nothing really to write home about on Mirage. It's a map that they were very comfortable on coming into this into the year, but I think we just need to kind of see that resurgence from them, see that they still have the wind in their sails, and I really hope that coming at the back of a victory and an upset yesterday, that we might just see exactly that.
Well, let's just hope we don't see any ninja diffusers. Luckily, Scream isn't in the server, so there isn't going to be any shenanigans going on there. But we do slip our way in. Kinguin going up against NaVi. Let's kick it off now on Mirage. Your CTs are going to be Kinguin. Let's see what they are actually going to bring to the table here. They've gone for the one kit, full armor almost on the other four, as they just situate themselves, getting ready for the push to come in. NaVi playing more of an early contact. You can see the three players grouping up, slowly approaching their way through, and then the smoke's being utilized towards that A bomb site.
Yeah, now it looks like these three players over here towards B. They might keep on the lurk, but I imagine we're going to see the majority make their way in through lower tunnels, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Simple and Flamey both heading downtown. Edward looking to join them as all three of these players just make a conga line of death, heading in through lower tunnels out in towards mid. Now the rest of the players from NaVi making their way over here towards A. The cross is going to be watched by Mihu up on short, who tries to connect some shots downrange, but he can't quite do it, and he's missing a lot. He's allowed players to make their way up in towards connect. Matt's going to be able to get one as Guardian and Seas both go down. Mihu finally finds Flamey, but he couldn't quite connect it. And well, Edward is going to falter. It's all on Simple. 1v5. He has been able to make his way up towards window. He's going to get one as Mihu goes down. It's still a 1v4, but Simple. I mean, we've seen him do some fantastic things. He's got to try and pull something out the bag here to maintain this pistol round, and Rallen are going to say no. Quick to guillotine him there, hiding behind the box and connector. Finds the frag, and now it'll be Kinguin to find themselves the pistol.
Yeah, nice way to kick it off as well. That's the thing. Simple can do great things, but nobody's left in situations like that, so they absolutely shut it down. Good stuff. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a bit of an awkward one there. The connect control wasn't great from Miku, but then everything just instantly resurged in their favor and was amazing. Now, the SMG buys coming out. Very heavy investment into SMGs here. If NaVi go for more of an aggressive play towards this B site and burst their way out, there could be potential for them to actually slip in, but they're playing it smart, playing it slow, going to be backing off, taking that connect control, most looking for a late round A burst. It is going to be a tight chokehold that they have to push through, though. So those SMGs will reign supreme in those close quarter combats, Harry.
Yeah, and they know this. That's why they're trying to focus on mid with the, the couple of deagles, couple of pistols that they do have. They can burst out in through connector, have the player come in from ramp as well. That's going to be Guardian over there just trying to keep his presence unknown for the time being. Sparrow's in danger as that smoke is down. Everyone just crossing over towards jungle. That means they're going to gain control of the window now. That's why Furlan, currently in CT, tasked with watching the murder hole, has a fairly important role here to stop the push coming in through CT. At that point, they can split out towards B. They can split A. It opens up a lot, but Guardian going to be the first player to get spotted. Will be tagged down low. Now falling on back, we can see that NaVi, they've got some wind in their sails, making their way out towards this A site. It's Edward, and they still haven't spotted him yet. Sparrow just climbing up the ladder, looks a little bit lost. It's going to go down as Simple and Edward chime in with two between them. Able to find one on the site, but that's going to be it. Simple gets the next as Mihu bites the dust. And now we can see Rollin alone and isolated over here towards his B side, and he's looking scared as he gets caught in the crossfire. Down he goes, Simple to find a second, and it's all on Mao, so he's over towards A, and does at least dispatch of Guardian.
Finding one kill there, but he still has to do so much more. You have to go for a quad into this round if he does want to close it out and get Kinguin back in action here. Makes his approach over towards the B-bomb site. It is going to be a short plant, I believe, so he is going to be able to spot it out, but is aware that they're holding from either angle. Slowly makes his approach in. You can see a daunting task ahead of him, so he does struggle a little bit, has to clear those angles. Time is ticking away as well. Spots out ahead, finds the frag on towards Simple, but seized in the backline. An easy backstab comes through, and NaVi reset the economy of Kinguin, bounce back almost instantaneously, and are now looking good to try and keep this paint train rolling. Obviously, they will have the superior capture to this following round, but Kinguin on these pistol buys, sometimes we do see a lot of initiative on display from them. They had a very good showing yesterday because they would throw a lot into it. They would invest quite heavily, but it usually does pay off for them. So they are definitely someone to be scared of when they have these upgraded pistols.
Yeah, NaVi, they're not wanting to play into the hands of Kinguin, just taking things very slowly. Two players over here towards Palace watching for any early aggression, and now it looks like we're going to be seeing Flamey double back to watch anything coming out ramp. Three players over towards B with Bomb dropped over towards top mid. And Edward now looking to try and peek out over towards middle. He was waiting to see if anyone tried rushing it. It's not uncommon to see a couple of CTs make their way up through mid to try and catch a player off guard on the early peak, and that hasn't presented itself. So as a result, Guardian going to be making his way out here, along with Edward, going in pairs so they can trade this out if either of them do fall at the hands of the pistols. And, well, Bomb now over towards Apps, reinforced by one other player, and then they actually send Simple over towards mid as well. So right now, two players over in Apps, three trying to take mid. It looks like they're going to play up towards short, and then try and split out over onto this B site. But with how the bomb is actually right now, they could very easily dip down in through connector. But as they spot out Sparrow, he's going to get tagged down low. Now falls back. That's mid control handed the way of NaVi. Mihu going to take the peek, but falters as Edward finds the entry. Got to watch out as there's another player on short, but Edward doesn't care. Comes out trumps with the UMP. Going to get himself a second. And now it's Sparrow with the Deagle. Already in shop watching the cross, but Edward, he sneaks on by.
Has been able to brush his way past. Stealthy stuff on display. Can he find the frag? Will be able to adjust his crosshairs. Took a little bit of a dink, but does find the kill nonetheless. It's just Miles and Furlan left, and they are trapped, spread so thin, miles away from all of the action, all of the ruckus that has been occurring on that B-bomb site, and they are trapped now, cowering in their boots. If they can save these weapons and armor, it would be the best case scenario, but NaVi, they can afford to hunt a little bit here. Send out players like Edward and Seize. They have those UMPs. Span across the map and hope to locate them. If you find those kills, it hurts Kinguin more than it would if you guys get picked off. Flamey will be able to do just the damage that was needed, though. A necessary kill goes their way as they eliminate Mouse, and it's just Furlan left. You can see him quaking in his boot as he gets pushed more angles. Will he be able to do some damage? Hit from the sidelines, struggles to readjust, but does actually find the frag. Takes down Seized and tries to get out of there now. Time is ticking away. Just a few seconds left he has to survive for. Smart use of the flashbang as he does hold back. They're not going to push into him, and it seems like he gets away barely with his life there.
Yeah, now he's got a UMP to play around there. Drops the CZ over towards Sparrow. So they actually have a little bit of something into this round. You can see pistols across the board, couple of P250s bought up for Mouse and Mihu. Rala not going to be buying anything because he doesn't have a lot of money to spare. But I mean, if Furlan can find a couple of frags on the back of that UMP, then we could see them make some money over on the CT side. It's very uncommon to see them kind of have a weapon into this scenario. So they do have a bit of a fighting chance at least. And already Simple snuck out through a ramp. They haven't checked it. So as a result, Sparrow going to bite the dust, but a quick dink in from Furlan, and he will go down. Mouse to find the next as Flamey falters from Apps as he tries to trade that frag out. Can't quite do it. The B site, meanwhile, they're going to be crawling with NaVi as they just pour on in. Bomb's going to go down, but the man advantage in favor of Kinguin as they swarm over towards B, and Ralin looking like he's thinking about just saving the UMP and armor.
His teammates do approach, yeah, they are going to group up and make their plate in towards the site. Edward, a cheeky little angle as he easily finds that headshot back. Miku also going to go down as Guardian will rip into him with that AK-47. It's just Ralin and Miles left, and They are trapped on their lonesome. Divided. They can't link up efficiently here, so they are going to try and do some damage, though. Mouse peeks out, actually finds the frag back on towards C's. Leaves them now in a 2 versus 2 situation. The only factor is they don't have a kit, nor much time to try and make their play towards B. So it is just a matter of survival. And it seems like they're going to get picked off.
Yeah, Maz was desperately trying to save himself the AK, but Edward actually takes the peak. That's a little bit risky to go in for. I mean, they've got a nice bit of money building up on the T side, but... Oh, and actually Roland was able to sneak in there and grab the AK at the last minute. So, all in all, that round actually was fairly decent for Kinguin. They do lots of damage. They find 3 frags. They take a lot of guns out the hand of NaVi, and they manage to save themselves an AK. As you can see, that's going to be a lot more utility on the cards for them into this round. They don't have an AWP to play around with, and Guardian does, and that's his favorite toy. You can see he's already got himself the mid spawn, now running over towards middle to try and capitalize on exactly this. Smoke goes down, he misses the first shot, and actually going to be punished by Furl, and he pays for that with his life. Mihu's here as well, and this mid play coming in from Kinguin could be something that Solo just pulls this round through from them early on. 2 frags off the bat, no trade in sight. Simple has picked up the AWP, and actually going to Molotov them out of top mid, so things are getting a little bit hot and spicy over towards middle.
Have to push their way through the fire and flames. Not great, really. They haven't been able to withstand the heat. They do back off. You can see Kinguin, though, fabulous little opener into that round. They've done so much damage. They're playing it smart as well. They know they have the mana advantage here. They can just play for trades. So they back off, hold these crossfire angles further into the site, a little bit deeper than they were playing beforehand. This is very clever from them. They have no real risk-taking into this. They don't want to throw it away. The 3 players left on the side of NaVi, though, can trade if Simple can find some openers with that AWP. They are making their play towards the B-bomb site. Seized is waiting by mid, though, in case there's a backstab from Connector as they make their play in. Going to clear out CPL, just taking their time. You can see they have to react quick, though, as the time is starting to tick off, and they've used so much of it trying to clear these angles. Finally, they get themselves on towards short. They can peer into the bomb site. If the peaks come out from the CT, surely Simple does find the frags, but he whiffs it, goes for the shot, but just gets himself served some apple crumble instead, as he isn't able to take them down. Very awkward. 30 seconds left. They have to react soon, Harry. Seized is coming in on the backstab, but can he find the kills here?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be the linchpin in towards this one. Flamey pushing up through short, but they're just holding this site very passively. Rollin will go down on the initial peak, but they going to account for me, who is on the site still, boosted up in the ninja spot, and they don't check it. C's going to go for the bomb plant. Down he goes. Mihu out, and you spotted him 4x3. What's going on? Simple will still go down. They hold on to the site on the back of a very good play from Mihu. He might not have seen Simple there towards the end, but still, he still gets points for locking it down, denying the bomb plant, and buying so much time for the rotate to come in. You can see that they were just dazed and confused at that point. Simple desperately trying to stay alive on the site, and he will go down. That's going to be Kinguin to find themselves a second, and we're seeing a lot of promise early on from them here.
True. That was a great opener into the round. They were aware that most likely NaVi were going to go for that AWP play. They instantly pushed it, were able to counter it. If not, if Guardian was able to find a couple of frags there to open it, it would have been a completely different round. But getting those opening picks on the board, they then continued to play it very clever. You back off. You have no reason to overextend. You don't need to create any more openings here. You've already done the hard part of the round. You can just play for efficient trades into the late round and pick it up 9 times out of 10. That's just what they did. Very good initiative on display from Kinguin. This time around, though, it's going to be more of a split and pick style LCS. Just contact plays coming out. Flamey, he's allowed to peek towards the A-bomb site, finds the first execution on towards Mouse. Not too great. Now they reposition as well. They are going to hit them with a bit of a pincer play. If C's does work here, which he does, finds the headshot back on towards Sparrow. Harry, the cracks are starting to show, and they keep getting bigger and bigger. They need someone in to fix that quick, as Miku has gone down as well.
Yeah, Furling going to be alone and scared over towards Ramp, pushing through his own smoke. Could get caught out here as the pop flash comes through, and quickly he's going to realize his mistake. He's going to be spotted. They're spraying through. He pushes on out, and Simple takes him down. Now it's all on Ralin. 1v5 alone, isolated and scared over in middle. Desperately trying to save this AK if he can. And Edward just running around the corner like a stampede. He can hear him, but he's not going to shoot just yet. Finally, will pounce. Down goes Edward, and it looks like Ralin just looking to fall on back, save himself the AK in the 1v4. He knows bombs down over towards the A site, and he is making his way over towards A. I don't know when we're going to see him try and go for the defuse. No crazy ninjas, hopefully, today. But who knows? I mean, there's still time. And I mean in the matchup, not in this round for the defuse. I doubt that's going to be a thing.
Very true. You don't expect too much to come out of this one. Most likely just going to get away with that save. You can see he is actually playing fairly close, though. So potential for some exit frags, but NaVi are smart. They were aware he was towards top mid. They're actually going to back off, culminate, try and group up and strike upon him here. If they do execute him, stop him from saving onto that weapon, it would be a very good feat for them. But it seems like with the time in, ideally, he's got through by the skin of his teeth. So can hold on to that. So that's quite nice to see. Obviously, the rest of his team, though, not looking too healthy as we work our way through. They will be able to distribute that cash around and actually get some buys into effect. Mag 7 comes out for Sparrow. The rest of them all over the shop a little bit. We have one Famous in play. Not the best weapon to have into these later rounds. 3 rifles, though, so still something, but it's not too great. I mean, Rallen up close and personal with the Mag 7 could potentially do some damage. We have seen him use the weapon quite a few times before and actually have a fair bit of prowess with it. So I wouldn't count him out, but still not the best buy to have into this round. Early face comes through. Edward will get the opener on towards short over at Miku. Actually, that's the opposite way around.
Yeah, Ferlin next to go down, and Flamey just going to be mopping up another. Sparrow unable to get anything done with the Mag 7. Flamey's still here. He's looking for more. Mouse might just give him that, but no, not going to give him the satisfaction. So Flamey will go down at least. And now we can see C's making his way up through Connector to try and trade this out. They know where Mouse is for the time being. They have a lot of information as to where this solo player is on the A site. And once they find him, it is going to be cleared. Down he goes as C's takes the peek. And now we might see that bomb potentially rotate back around. But it doesn't matter because there's no stopping Simple. Down goes Rallen. And that's going to be NaVi to find a 5th.
Looking like they're going to work their way through fairly quickly to grab that 6 as well. And you imagine because Kinguin, no money at all. Now, in the previous round, they were able to at least distribute things around and get what was actually a fairly good buyout in the end in terms of things compared to how much cash we actually expected them to have. Now, though, absolutely broken. I mean, much like a rundown fairground, Harry, there's just not a lot to go on.
Yeah, no, nothing indeed. I mean, we can see there's a PT-50 on Maz, but that's really about it. A couple of USPs spread thinly across Kinguin. And, well, NaVi, they're playing this very slowly. You don't want him to walk into the waiting arms of the pistols and actually Flaming to find the first. But the MP7 gets himself a little bit more potentially, but now it's Guardian to find it. Now continuing his aggression, his rampage of terror, going to be able to get Mihu. And then Guardian peeks on out, dispatches of Mouse, gets the trade. As they do lose a comrade, Simple will go down in the process, and it's all on Rallen. 1v4. Seems to be a bit of a reoccurring phrase that he's left in these clutch situations. And he's just alone in towards CT spawn, praying that they don't find him anytime soon.
Trapped there as he does cower, quaking in his boots. They will go for a bit of a hunt as well. John Rambo, as they sprint around, attempting to clear all of those angles. Seems like there will be a confrontation soon as well, but which favor is it going to go? In the way of the CTs, actually. Rallen takes him down, scavenges that Kalashnikov as well. Molotov goes in to bide him some more time, stops the T's from pushing directly into him, but it doesn't matter. As soon as the peak comes through, Edward shows just how powerful he can be. There's the headshot on towards Rallen. They close it out. They do get that 6th round on the board. But here's the difference maker. Kinguin once again have some economy. They have a bit of a buffer to play with. They will invest in towards those M4s. No AWP though. Sparrow has been unable to get that AWP out just because of how weak their economy's been throughout this matchup. And you wonder if that's got to be a deciding factor as well.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the AWP in play. We very rarely see them with too much utility. This round being a great example of just that. Mouse has nothing. Ferlin relegated down to a single nade, and everyone else just kind of scraping what they can together. Now, this time they've got Mihu pushed out through short. You also have, over in window, Mouse is there, Sparrow peeking out through connector. And this is good because mid's been a reoccurring problem for them. We keep seeing NaVi playing in through lower tunnels. They have no one to watch the angle, and then that allows them to sneak players up in through connector. We've seen C's making its way up there so many times, countless times, find those frags on the players in jungle or stairs. And that just opens up this A site. But this time, that's been shut down early on. And NaVi, not accustomed to having to deal with this. Instead, they've just regrouped everyone over towards ramp, and it looks like they're going to go for everyone's favorite strategy, the rush A.
And you have the smokes to play with, so you can completely zone off the site here. Remember, any line of sights to allow the CTs to actually work. The CTs have to bend very quickly here. They have to adapt, or else they will be broken when NaVi go for the strike. Guardian's going to go for the contact style. Peeks out over towards CT, hoping to see they're going to go for an information play up on towards Ticket Booth, which they do. If he can find the frag here, peering over the smoke. So close to actually doing some work, but the first frag will go the way of Edward. Eliminates Miku. He was the information man. He allowed his teammates to rotate so heavily because he got that information from mid. But now he's been executed. Sparrow goes for the peek out, but Simple is doing work. Luckily enough, though, Mouse can fire back. Sparrow hoping to do some work of his own. Will peek in to the waiting arms of Guardian, though. Takes him down, leaves them in a 2 versus 2. 4 men alive on the battlefield. Make that 3 as Guardian falls, and it is just left in the hands of Edward. A mass rotate coming out. There's not going to be enough time for him to get there. This defuse should come through. Mouse with an easy kill as well. And Kinguin bounce back. Nice play coming into this round.
Yeah, in that 1v2, bomb wasn't planted for them. And I can think of a lot of players who wouldn't have gone for that, but I can tell you Ed would. And, well, it is going to be 3-6. 3 rounds between these two teams. And Kinguin, they do manage to find themselves another one. And this is going to be the chance for them to start to chip away at the economy of NaVi. We can see them buying down. They've got utility behind them and the AWP on Sparrow. This is the first time we've seen him pick this up just yet. So hoping to see a nice bit of impact on the back of this. We can already see him peeking out towards mid. Now the smokes can go down. It's actually seized the peek on out. So instead, they've sent Guardian over towards B. He's looking to try and find something over here with the rest of the team who are just stacking on up. Molly's going to go out. It looks like they might just be going fast into this. And well, Roland's got a lot on his plate and sadly doesn't manage to do anything. Mihu going to go down on short as well as Flamey's going to be going in hot. 2 frags off the bat. It's going to put it into a 3-on-5, and Mouse goes down, trying to rotate in through connector, thanks to Seized in mid. Sparrow and Furlan left cowering over towards A, and while Sparrow's going to take that peek, falls at the hand of Guardian. And I did say at the start of the round, but it'd be nice to see that AWP have some impact, and we didn't see it do anything.
It's true. It wasn't that predominant at all. Nothing really affected much of the play. I mean, when you look at this as well, right, Kinguin are getting these rounds on the boards, but the detrimental factor is they always get reset. They're not able to string them together. And that's more harmful than them actually not really doing anything at all, because their economy takes so much of a hit off the back of it. Sure, Furlan finds 1 frag at the end of the round, but he also goes down, losing the weapon that he had in his hands. And you can see the effects here. Because they won that prior round and then lose this one, resets them once again. They're left with nothing to play with. All of their cash has been drained from them, which means NaVi will get an 8th round here, essentially for free. They didn't even opt to go for the double AWP play into this one as well. They didn't save it. They just kept the 1 on Guardian when they could have had to if they wanted to. Seems like Simple is just more happy with his AK right now. He's going to be preferring that up-close personal style of CS, especially against these pistols as well. It will work out a little bit easier for him. He'll be more mobile and able to strike upon these many pistol players. They are stacking up quite well, though. You've gone for the 3 players stacking towards the A-bomb site, up-close and personal, hoping that they can catch a couple of players off guard, potentially, and then more lax towards the B site. Miku is going to be peeking out towards short. Someone pushing to Delpan, though, should be an easy frag on the side of NaVi, as he only has that deagle.
There we go, Edward lining up a smoke, similar to what we saw in the tutorial, but a little bit different. Maybe we'll get one done for that. That's going to smoke off connector, and actually that's going to be very prominent to get them up through short. There are 3 players on A who now are completely blocked out thanks to that 1 smoke. And Miu was well able to get 1, peeking on out with the deagle, looking for a second, trying to get some more, but no, Simple says no to that. Going to be a 3-on-4, and actually these pistols in through connector, they just rush straight through that smoke. And Roland's still on the site. They're going to be walking straight past him. They think the site's clear. And, oh no, Flamey's going to go for the plant, but his little face is going to be spotted out, and he will go down. It's all unseized. 1v4, and this round was looking so good off the bat for NaVi. Quickly turns sour, as now it's all on 1 man. He's got a Dream, an AK, and a little bit of utility to play around with. Bombs down in the middle of the site. 35 seconds left to play with. Smoke will go down. He takes the first peek. Roland going to hit the deck. Looking for a second. Mouse going to be tagged down low towards short. But Sparrow does have the AWP, and he's going to be the linchpin. He's on short as well. You've got a player over in Apps, and the crossfire between them two just going to prove to be too strong as Sparrow finds that shot. Down he goes, and Kinguin, they will find themselves a 4th.
Absolutely crazy stuff coming out there from Kinguin. Now, this is weird because we touched on this. You know, we spoke about it more yesterday as well. You can never count them out in these rounds of the ecos because for some reason they actually perform very well on their eco rounds. Now, but this is what we've seen before, right? Even if Kinguin get this round, I'm not going to be surprised if we see a reset come back through, because NaVi are very easy at being able to just lock them down and counter it. Kinguin, for some reason, play a lot more aggressively, play a lot smarter when they're in those pistol rounds. Then when they get back to the full buys, they struggle. This time around, they get the opening kill. Sparrow on the AWP could be the difference maker they need, but he's been taken down. Removed from the situation as Edwards and Siege just tear their way through. They've ripped a new one open on the A. Bomb site, Siege for a final frag into the round. That's going to be 3 for him, 2 for Edward, and they close it out. Just what we expected to see, because for some reason, Kinguin just keep getting reset. They can't string these rounds together. They can pull it out of the bag when there's no pressure on them, when it's a round they don't have any stake in, when they just have these pistols. As soon as it's back into a full rifle round, they lose it.
Yeah, and I was very much looking forward to see the effect of Sparrow going aggressive there. It's something we haven't seen. It caught NaVi off guard. It netted them the early frag, just as what happened onto him now. The revenge coming in from Guardian. But, I mean, that round there, just you know, thinking back to what we just saw, it was a very nice idea, and this is kind of the reoccurring problem for Kinguin. They have a lot of good ideas. They try to make them work. We saw the peak come in over in towards Palace, and the issue is Sparrow picks up that first frag, but then Furlan on the site can't hold off the ramp push, can't connect his shots, so you lose that player to support you on the people coming in from ramp to trade, and then we just see everyone on the A site die in a flurry of frags. So ultimately, that round, it does get away of NaVi, as does this one, as they're very, very quick to chain 2 together, thanks to Kinguin's reset economy. Now they're going to finally have that shot to buy on down. Sparrow going to have the AWP in hand, as does Roland, as they go for this double AWP setup. Now, we haven't seen them go for this, and neither of these players have armor. They're just going to be going in naked, so are going to be at the full mercy of utility and aim punch, but let's see if investing in that second AWP is worth it.
This could be a huge factor behind them as well, because it at least is some initiative for into the mix. They've switched things up enough. More of a mid-play coming out from NaVi as well, reminiscent of what they did in the first couple of rounds here. We did see Kinguin try and contest that very aggressively, though. They like to try and fight back towards mid. They don't want to let you funnel through, take map control, and then hold you at choke points. They want to contest. Miku gets taken down, unfortunately, though, but Mouse can pick off one of his own men as he finds the frag back on towards Flamey. No easy kills towards the A-bomb site coming out for him this time around. Seems like they might be debating the fact, though, there is going to be a split play towards A off the back of Flamey being taken down in that same position, whereas there's now basically a welcome mat down on B, Harry. You can see NaVi grouped up, though. If they slip in through the backline and Rallen gets taken down here, this could be a huge detriment.
Yeah, where Rallen's playing, he shouldn't get taken out in this scenario. He should find the opening frag at least, then just fall on back and wait for the team to rotate round. Seized falling in connector. Now, this is where things get important, right? They found that one frag. Seized has kind of been that lurk in through connector, and you can already see now they're skeptical. They're going to be rotating Sparrow over towards B. Rallen hits the first shot. He's going to go aggressive to the site. He doesn't really need to, but because they found that frag earlier on with a two-man advantage, they can afford to play this gamble. And he's now on the site up close and personal. Guardian going to take him down, though quick to guillotine that one player. The bit of resistance that was stopping them from planting the bomb, and it will be going down. Sparrow just going to go aggressively, though, in through the smoke. Simple going to find Mouse on short, and Guardian dispatches a Furlan. Simple gets the next. As Guardian and Simple, the two players that we often say are the dynamic duo of NaVi, lock down that B site against overwhelming odds.
Crazy stuff there. They never should have worked their way through. You imagine they would have been closed out, as they actually do pick that one up. Yeah, they are going to be keeping going on, though. Obviously, a bit of a weak buy on the side of Kinguin. They do have these 3 UMPs to play with and 2 pistols here. Let's see if they can pull something out of the bag with this. We expect this, though. It's odd to say. I mean, in those rounds, it seems like NaVi just get riled up towards the end and do close it out. Flamey, he's been able to find openers across the board towards A, this time proving that he can do it on B. Edward going to help him out a little bit there, bit of a crutch. They tear it up. Harry, everyone's dead in the first 30 seconds. Not even that. And then you can see Sparrow left, trapped in his lonesome. He's left on A, just confused about where his family's gone. It's like a lost child in Asda.
Other stores are available. Sparrow going to find himself 1v5, 5-7 in a dream. But without a face, there's not much he can do. That's going to be 11-4 as NaVi have a very good first half. We're going to be back with more action after a very quick break.
Welcome back to ESL Pro League. We just had a fantastic first half that went down there. Really nail-biting stuff. Kinguin, they were able to win these weird, wacky rounds where they didn't really have much of a chance, and then NaVi would just lock it down on the instant reset where it was fair game. It's crazy to see NaVi just being able to tear up those rounds, but you do sort of expect NaVi to dominate more, though. Even then, an 11-4 half coming through. What can they bring to the table here in the second half?
Well, I mean, yeah, there was a lot that was going wrong for Kinguin there. They pick up that first pistol round, which, you know, was kind of the ideal start for them, right? Getting the pistol normally kind of guarantees you netting 3 rounds on your, well, 2 rounds at least on your CT side, depending on if that bomb goes down. Kinguin actually win it out in a very dominant fashion. It was looking good for them, if you remember off the bat. But then NaVi, they come straight back and they go ahead and pick up the the anti-eco, what should have been around for Kinguin, and that was because they were very lax on mid, and that seemed to be a reoccurring problem. They just couldn't figure out how to deal with it. So all in all, it was actually a fairly kind of nice adjustment from NaVi to realize that the issue was in mid. They just kept hitting that time and time again, and we saw Kinguin scrambling to try and figure it out. There was one of the rounds where they finally got their hands on rifles. They played 3 players in mid. If you remember, it was when they caught Guardian off guard. Yeah. The AWP got thrown over towards Simple, and then they picked that one up. Strange enough, after that one round, they just seemed to give up mid altogether for a little while, and it just led to the fact that Seized kept working his way up in through connector. They couldn't deal with him. He was the thorn in their side. and always kind of at least got himself a 1-for-1 in towards jungle, but it just put so much pressure then on that remaining player on A that they just couldn't hold it down. So a couple of weird, rather questionable decisions from Kinguin, and like you say, they picked up a lot of rounds that, you know, really they had no business winning, but then it just comes down to what we were saying yesterday, where some of the rounds seemed just entirely down to luck.
Yeah. And that's kind of weird, because Kinguin are in this sort of, you know, this weird grey area with how they actually play, where you're like, right, they've got a lot of, you know, smart decision-making behind their plays, and you can see that representing their play style, but it seems like sometimes it just doesn't all come together. It seems like odd communication issues here and there that hinder them. A lot of the time as well, as you said towards mid, it would be they tried to contest, but they didn't really have any form of trading. So Miku would always go for this very late, aggressive peeking towards mid, where the map control had already been completely taken by NaVi,
exactly.
right? They're situated in so many good positions. They had crossfires, you had one player in Delpan, two players at top mid. If anyone peeked there at that point, sure, you might have got a trade if we saw two players peek and they were actually playing together on the side of Kinguin. But it was just Miku would waddle out. Sure, he got a lot of information from that, but would just be executed. At most, we saw him got one deagle kill on short, but that was just on a weird eco where they pushed into him and sort of, you know, played into his hands. So it was weird. It seemed like they just weren't really playing for trades at all.
Yeah, when they finally kind of adjusted to mid, we saw NaVi just completely anti-strat that play. Instantly, they went for the rush in towards B. I think that was round 10, where they just completely changed the pace of things. They rushed towards the B site. It was Rallen and Mihu to try and hold it down. Rallen completely caught off guard, hasn't had to deal with a B rush the whole game. Is constantly left, you know, being the kind of one player still alive because he's rotating from B. Gets completely annihilated on the initial push. Mihu on short, because he's gone for the late peek, peeks in towards the site to try and reinforce Rallen, and is just caught out in the open, standing there, gives away 2 frags, and that's the B site fallen. And that was a reoccurring issue for them. They couldn't get the trades when NaVi were entering into the site. But let's see if they can switch things up on their T side and try and have a more convincing half.
You gotta hope, because they really need a miracle, Harry. If they don't come in here strong on their pistol, you imagine it is going to be a quick goodbye coming out from the side of NaVi. Let's see how this one is going to go. Seems like it was going to be a contact-style play, but is actually all-out aggression, a very fast burst in towards the site as they explode their way in, bounding like a bunch of acrobats. They arrive on the scene of the crime. Can they cause a stir, though? Seized actually gets the opening frags. He takes down Furlan, but Miku is there to retaliate. Now left on a 4 versus 4. Huge round to try and pick up, but they're getting obliterated. The retake squadron has arrived, and they're living up to their name.
Yeah, Guardian's going to be tacked down low, and Sparrow desperately looking to avenge his fallen brethren. Does find that. Actually, probably going to get another in the meantime. He will be traded out swiftly by Flamey. Flamey taps that bomb. Sparrow's going to have to take the peek and just working around the pillar. It's going to be caught out in the open. Flamey to get the defuse. There's plenty of time left, and that's NaVi to find themselves the pistol. And I just think when you look at the contrast between how the sites have been held, on that rush, you saw straight away the player just fall out of the site, doesn't want to stay in there, instead falls back passively, buys a little bit of time for everyone to rotate on round. And so by the time that bomb's down, there's already every single player for NaVi outside the site, breaking their way in from a multitude of different angles, and they completely catch Kinguin off guard. The complete opposite of how we saw Kinguin on their CT side.
That's the thing, you play for retake at that point. If you die in that situation, you leave yourself in a 4 versus 5 retake, where the T's are all going to be set up and situated in a good situation, good afterplants. It's going to be really hard to retake that. You keep 5 alive on a retake into the B bomb site, you have potential to take it back, and that is good from NaVi. We didn't really see Kinguin trying too much like that, and that's kind of the thing that we spoke about. You know, their playbook and how much experience they have in a lot of those scenarios, it is normally a lot better decision-making coming out for them. Good nade early on, though. Look at the splash damage there. 2 players left on 20 HP. I mean, that's not fantastic to kick the round off. For Kinguin, they are going to lose 1 bit of manpower as well, as Mouse will be exterminated, and it's just 3 of them left, trapped at top mid, deciding what they actually want to do. Guardian with a peek through as well, actually finds the frag, the headshot on towards Miku. Another one goes his way. Guardian is just mowing them down. It's so easy for him, just blissful frags coming his way. Flamey for the final one. That is a huge cash injection as well. He's going to be happy with that payday loan. He can buy that AWP as soon as he wants.
Yeah, I mean, who needs an AWP when you've got the UMP though anyway, right? I mean, what's even the point? You know, the UMP is not strong or anything, but here we go. And Flamey's going to be the only player with a rifle. Everyone else with UMPs, and Kinguin with AKs across the board. Now, it'll be interesting to see who comes up trumps in this engagement. It's been a lot of call for the UMP to kind of be nerfed, and well, this could be the round that is a good show of whether or not that's the case. As we can already see 2 players over towards mid for Kinguin, trying to take these longer range engagements with the AKs. Rallen making his way in through apps, trying to make some noise, just keep these players from rotating off of this B site or taking any sort of aggressive peeks. Guardian going to be the initial one to do some damage. Pop flash come through, but Rallen going to emerge the victor as he does find his head. The early man advantage taken, And Rollin just looking to concede control of apps now. Falls back. He's probably going to go ahead and grab that bomb, rejoin his teammates over towards mid. Alternatively, if they can get control of short, they can very easily split in and over towards this B site. But the one thing that makes me think they might not do that is the positioning of Mouse and the fact that now they've got Furlan pushed up in connector. I think they're going to keep Rollin here in the back line.
Miko as well does actually get the opener back on towards Edwards. They do have a 2-man advantage already into the round. Oh, not potentially there. He did go for the peak, but Seas was able to deal with him. So you leave them now on a 3 versus 4. The thing is, NaVi still have a lot to work with now. Seas has scavenged the AK. He links up another frag, keeps it going as well as Flamey does damage back on towards Mouse. You leave them in a 3 versus 2. This is a very easy winnable round right now. Sure, the T's have good positions, but they need to land those shots. If you can find the frag by the murder hole, you bring them back into this 2 versus 2 now, but it's still going to be so awkward. Look at the utility on the side of NaVi, and Simple in the backstab peeks out, blissfully unaware. They had no idea where he was situated. The smoke goes down. His teammate can jump on the bomb. They can just chill out. Play for time now as the peak does come through. Flamey just tapping away, drawing them out of position, even gets the kill as well. And NaVi lock it down.
And that's another kind of example of this weird decision-making on behalf of Kinguin. Now, you could see they had players set up over there towards the A site, but it seemed like they were very reluctant to ever go ahead and rotate the bomb over towards B. And, you know, they know that Rollin has the info as to where this player is in apps. They actually knew where the only guy on B was. Now, they might have thought maybe another player had rotated around, and they had Mouse who was over in Palace, so he would have just been essentially lost to the push. But, I mean, Rollin was anyway, right? They could have very easily rotated over towards that B side. But this round already seized in mid, dispatching of me, who is him and Edward go aggressive. Mid control going to be order of the day from NaVi. But in the meantime, Simple's going to fall on this A site, and that's actually opened it up in its entirety. No one here to lock it down. Now they're only just rotating players around, but Kinguin haven't opted to capitalize on that. Instead, they've slowed right down. They've equalized it back into a 4-on-4, and are now just looking to play cautious to try and retake the man advantage.
Just holding their ground right now. Posted up. I'm going to be peeking out though, faking that face towards mid, but they don't really see too much. It's a little bit of information on the side of Edward. Now the T's back off though. Link up together and make their play in towards A. In terms of utility, they only have the one smoke to work with here. But still, it's something. It's a bit of a crutch to lean on to allow them entry in towards this site, to at least remove one angle that will help out those CTs. Seized as well on the ladder, is peeking up, gets spotted out by Mouse. This is good. It's also the moment to strike. They have to initiate their attack right now. The smoke will go in. They charge their way through. Nice flashbang usage as well, as Edward is blind. He had no idea that they'd slipped their way in out through Palace, and doesn't know how many people have made it on towards the bomb site. Flamey is there as well, trying to do some work. Unfortunately, his teammate is going to get taken down. Sparrow in the elevated angle, just hammering back, firing these shots in towards CT. They use their teamwork here to peek out. They do find the frag. It's getting awkward as it's just Guardian left. He's got an M4 in a 1 versus 2 situation. But can he actually find the frags here?
No, he cannot. As Rollin with the UMP over towards CT does quickly deal with him before he can get his foot in the door in that retake. There's one person you really didn't want there. It'd either be Guardian or Simple, and Guardian was the man with the plan, trying to make it work. But they do still have enough money to drop him the AWP. He's going to be a bit of a catalyst into this round, really, when you look at it. They're going to be dropping what they can across the board. It's now Guardian on the AWP. A couple of rifles here and there. Seized with a UMP, and Edward on the FAMAS. Meanwhile, Kinguin, they've got rifles galore. And already looking like they make their way out towards mid. Are they going to anticipate the fact that Guardian still has that AWP in hand, as they do go for mid control? Not entirely sure they do. I think they're going to now be pushing on down. 3 players here in middle. We can see 2 making their way up towards apps. Looking like B's going to be the order of the day, but with 3 players situated over towards there, and Simple with the ability to rotate in towards window to watch mid, this B site's looking fairly stacked.
It's true. It's going to be a hard task to actually get through the barricades that have been posted over there. Edward in this elevated angle, though, he has the high ground, Harry, and he knows how to take down these ruthless Padawans as he finds the frag over on towards Sparrow. Flashbang goes out as well to try and allow them to ward off the T's that are there. 3 players on the B bomb site, but they're actually caught off guard at very awkward timing. Seized falls, also Flamey. Furlan should surely be aware that that boost has been utilized. There was 2 players crouched over there. Does work it out, sniffs him out, and will take him down. Leaves them in this 3 versus 2. Simple is trying to achieve something. Guardian scoped in, but the angles aren't really favoring him.
Yeah, Kinguin don't need to take any sort of peeks here. They can just bide their time. Both players coming in from this one angle. It's very hard to try and make something happen from here, especially when you look at the fact they had that smoke down. It completely denied any sort of entry in through the door, and as a result, NaVi, they're just going to fall on back. Don't want to risk taking these peeks, and that's actually Kinguin had to find themselves a 6th. Now, saving these 2 rifles, Does mean we could see NaVi go for a bit of a quasi into the next round. We know that, you know, money becoming a bit of an issue for the CT side, but they've got so many rounds to play around with that it doesn't really matter at this point. They've got such a huge buffer that even if Kinguin pick up the next couple consecutively, NaVi still only have to win one to guarantee that overtime at least.
It's true. They're that one round away from getting that match point on the board, and that's kind of the more redeeming factor as well, is they know they do have a lifeline close by to them, whereas for Kinguin, it's an all-out scroll. They've got to climb their way through. They're in the dirt, they're muddy, and their nails are dug in as they slowly try and pull their way closer and closer to getting that match point. But it is going to be a hard fight for them. NaVi, though, not the best amount of money to play with. It is going to rely quite heavily on Simple and Guardian. But if there's any two players that you want to pop off massively in these sort of rounds, it's going to be these two big boys with weapons that they absolutely love to have in their possession as well. Guardian with the AWP scoped in towards the A bomb site, and he's got the luck of the draw, Harry, as they are finding their way over towards him.
Yeah, he is the guardian of the A site, just watching over it from afar, not going to let anyone from Kinguin go in without a fight. And as 4 players are grouped up here, and actually look at Cease, he's gone so aggressive, going to be able to spot out Ralin, peeking out round the corner. Is he going to see this coming? He does hear him, and then he will go down. An early man advantage taken. Guardian going to be pushing up through the smoke with the AWP in hand. They don't quite spot him out, but he misses that first shot. Now falls on back. But it's simple to find the first in this take. Furling going to bite the dust. Put into a 4-on-4. Bomb gets dropped out in the open. They have to go ahead and retrieve it. And as a result, they can't really get the plant they were going for. Hoping to try and get it planted for ramp. Instead, now it's fallen back into the safety of the site. They won't be able to get that same plant down. And actually, Mihu going to hit the dirt. As simple, he's going to be on 2. Guardian gets another as Mouse goes down. And all of a sudden, this has become very scary. Ralin's going to be miles away, all the way over towards B. Only Sparrow on the site, and he falls as well. Ralin, where were you?
Trying to go for what seems to be an incredibly late round backstab there, hoping that his teammates will be able to do more, but Harry has fallen short. He's tripped, and now he's just crawling his way over, limping back towards the A-bomb site, hoping to do something. But you imagine he will shortly find his demise. Guardian, we're able to flick round, find that frag. That's 3 nice kills for him into that round. Very good stuff. He had to defend that A-bomb site. A lot of it did rely on him. Sure, he didn't get the frags immediately as they took control of the site, but on the retake, him and Simple did an abundance of work. They lock it down. They've got that match point. As you said, they're going to be comfortable now. They're happy. They can just lounge out, lazily work their way through these rounds. They have enough of a buffer that if Kinguin start to make a comeback here, they can allow it to happen. They don't have to overreact or overinvest into any round. They can just play it smart and steady and know they'll slowly win out the race in the end. But let's see what King can bring to the table here. A very mixed match buy. They've gone to the car boots out. They've grabbed whatever they can find for under 50p. And it's not looking great.
No, not at all. Everyone over towards Apps, with the exception of Mouse, who does actually find that first frag as he peeks on out. Everyone would say everyone else just waiting with bated breath on the other side of this smoke. And while Cease is already going to be tagged down low. Now he's been made aware of the danger that lurks on the other side. That Molotov going to try and force them back, and it does do exactly that. It's actually isolated Ralin as well. He finds himself trapped on one side of it. Now going to pop flash himself out, but Cease falls back into the site. The bomb has made its way neutrally out towards the T-spawn area. Guardian peeking out mid, trying to take this engagement, and Sparrow with the scout, the baby brother of the AWP, will be falling short. And already Flamey. He's actually gone right up towards top mid, was almost touching tips of his barrels with Mouse. Now falls in towards Connector. They find themselves in a 4-on-4. Don't want to risk giving away any further man advantage. And Flamey, he's going to quickly find his position heating up a little bit. As Mouse bad to be peeking him, does spot that player out on stairs. Got to worry about the push in from short, but no one's there for the time being. And then down goes Flamey. Only Guardian on this site, but he's going to get one. He's got to go huge here to try and hold this site down. And as he peeks on out over towards Palace, spots the first Mihu going to take the peek. He knows where one of these players are. He's bought time for Edward to rotate on round to try and help out if need be. And while it's seized, coming in over towards short, they have the crossfires set up perfectly for this A site. Where could the bomb even go down right now? Everywhere it's going to be faced by someone from NaVi. Edward to find the first. Guardian still alert in CT spawn. They know that Edward's here, but Guardian going to be the one who's the real problem. And actually through the box, down goes Furlan, down goes Ralin as well. Guardian going to get 4, and that'll be NaVi to win out this first map.
And there you have it there, closing it out with a very, very dominant scoreline. I mean, when you look at it on paper, though, you did expect something around there, but it was just weird how the game went out. I mean, more so in terms of anything, if we just put the scoreline to one side and the actual result here, it was interesting to see a lot of how Kinguin played in some of those more in-depth rounds. They had some good decision-making. It just seemed like, at times, there was questionable communication that really allowed them to fall short. Overall, though, it seemed like they could have actually got themselves a better scoreline if they would have not had that issue.
Yeah, there were a couple of rounds that were very, very
Yeah.
weird from them. The one that really kind of springs to mind that we saw most recently that should be at the forefront of your mind was round 21, where NaVi, all they had was the AWP and the scavenged rifle on simple. And, then we see Ralin, other side of the map, completely leaves his team, hangs them out to dry, expecting they're not going to go down at this push. But when you're up against a quasi-buy like that, a team that for the most part is relying on pistols and a couple of Catalyst rifles, you shouldn't leave your teammates to fend for themselves over towards the A site. Can't put too much of the blame on him. They should have equal part on that A site, been able to trade those frags out, and they just couldn't. But still, I mean, there was a lot that went wrong there for Kinguin, and a lot that went right for NaVi. They seem to be doing very well just across the board.
Everything sort of seemed to be aligning for them. I mean, more so as well, we saw it in those clutch situations where NaVi just pulled it out of the bag hugely. I mean, obviously, if we come back to that sort of first pistol round or so, where it got down to left in a 1 versus 2 with Flamey, and you're like, oh, okay, this should be them actually getting an early round lead, allow them to make that scoreline more manageable as it was an 11-4, but no chance there. Flamey just ramps it up, starts burning things up, turns up the temperature, and closed it down. And it's scary to see that NaVi at that point were able to just lock it down purely just overpowering them with individual prowess.
Yeah, I mean, but there was a lot of times that happened. There were a lot of these kind of 1v2s where you would expect Kinguin to very easily walk away with it, and they didn't. They couldn't trade things out. There did seem to be a serious problem with their communication. It seemed like they aren't playing as well as they were yesterday. I mean, NaVi arguably almost kind of a caliber above that of Envy, but still, I mean, just as much kind of experience between the rosters, a lot of talent across the board. And what we saw yesterday from Kinguin was a hell of a lot stronger just in terms of the communication, how they were able to anti-strat things. And we didn't see any of that today. And I hope they can come back kind of refreshed, reset themselves for when we head into Inferno.
It's true. They need to switch things up. Kinguin have to try and make it work as we work our way through Inferno, which will be the second map. But before that, why don't you guys go and grab yourself a NaVi jersey? We've just seen them tear things up. It was huge to see. And you might be thinking, damn, those guys look pretty good. I want to be like them. But you can be. Grab the jersey. It might not make you as good at CS. Not sure. But it's still worth wearing it. Let us know. But we'll find out just how the second map is going to go after the break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.